I closed a $10 million deal and gave the money bag to my wife for safekeeping overnight. But the next day, I was shocked to find my wife had vanished and her phones were switched off. She left a note saying, "Thanks for the money. I'm starting over with my boyfriend and good luck starting from scratch." I couldn't help but laugh because the bag she stole was actually Chapter 1, the disappearing act. Closing a $10 million deal feels like standing on the summit of the world. I'd been chasing it for months, traveling city to city, shaking hands, surviving brutal negotiations and sleepless nights. It wasn't just business. It was my everything. Years of grinding finally paying off. The final agreement was signed at 7:42 p.m. I remember because I looked at my Rolex and smiled, thinking, this is the moment I'll remember for the rest of my life. What I didn't know was how right I was, just not for the reasons I expected. I brought the physical contract and what they called the celebratory handoff home, a symbolic leather duff filled with placeholder cash. It wasn't the actual transaction, of course. That was wired, clean, legal. But the client had a flair for the dramatic. He wanted me to feel the weight of it. When I got home that night, exhausted but exhilarated, my wife, Rhea, was waiting in silk pajamas, wine glass in hand. She smiled as I set the bag down. "What's that?" I kissed her forehead. "A trophy, 10 million in proof. The deal's done." Her eyes widened, sparkling. "Is it real?" "Technically," I chuckled. "But it's symbolic, all show. It's packed with fake bills. The real money is in escrow, transferring Monday morning." She laughed with me, but her hands lingered on the bag. "You trust me with it?" she asked playfully. I shrugged. "Why not? You're my wife?" Rhea smiled. "Sweet software deadly. I'll keep it in the closet tonight," she said, "just in case." I nodded, kissed her goodnight, and collapsed into sleep. And when I woke up, she was gone. Her clothes emptied, closet stripped, her phones disconnected, the money bag missing. On the kitchen counter, in place of her usual morning coffee mug, sat a single folded note. "Thanks for the money, babe. I'm starting over with my boyfriend. Good luck starting from scratch, Rhea." I stared at it for a long moment. Then I laughed. A deep, uncontrollable laugh that echoed through the kitchen because the bag she stole was filled with hundreds of fake bills and a GPS tracker. Chapter 2. The Bag of Lies. Rhea thought she was clever. She must have waited until I was in a deep sleep, tiptoed to the closet, grabbed the bag, and fled into the night like some femme fatale in a Netflix heist drama. I imagined her smirking as she closed the door behind her, whispering to herself, "He'll never see it coming." And she was right about one thing. I didn't see it coming. But she didn't see what I had prepared either. See, I didn't just deal with money. I dealt with risk, with snakes in suits and betrayal dressed in smiles. And somewhere deep down, a voice had always whispered that if I ever got too comfortable, I'd lose everything. So months ago, during early contract talks, I had a bag custom-made, indistinguishable from the real thing, but filled with high-grade legal replica currency, perfect for dramatic closings and stitched into the bottom lining. A GPS tracker disguised as a sewn-in logo tag. Not for theft protection, for insurance. I sat down at my home office desk and opened the tracking app. There it was, moving southbound, 68 miles per hour, somewhere along Highway 17. And it wasn't just the bag I had eyes on. I opened my laptop, brought up my cloud camera footage. 2:17 a.m. Rhea in a hoodie and leggings slipping out the door. 2:19 a.m. She stopped to kiss someone. Blurry but unmistakably tall, scruffy and smug. His name was Darren, my ex-gym buddy. The guy who used to come over for game nights. The guy who always lingered a little too long when Rhea laughed at his jokes. I zoomed in on the video, paused at the frame of them carrying the bag together into his car, and then I smiled again because I knew exactly where they were headed. 3:31 a.m. Somewhere outside the city, Darren's cheap little rental cabin on the outskirts of town wasn't much to look at. But I imagined to them it must have felt like the first step into a millionaire's life. They must have lit candles, popped open a bottle of stolen champagne, maybe even played music while they unzipped the bag, expecting crisp stacks of freedom, and instead piles of fake currency. No real value, just air. My phone buzzed, a blocked number. I answered on speaker, sipping coffee like it was a regular Tuesday. "John?" Rhea's voice hissed, barely composed. "What the hell is this?" "Good morning, sunshine," I said cheerfully. "Sleeping in the woods now, are we? You gave me fake money." "No, Rhea, you stole fake money. There's a difference. You planned this?" "You bet I did." She cursed under her breath. "You're a psycho." "No," I replied, calm as a surgeon. "I'm a strategist, and I told you once. I only trust people who've earned it. You just proved why." I let the silence grow, then added, "Oh, and by the way, you and Darren might want to move fast." "What do you mean?" I refreshed the tracker, still pinging. "I may have let your little heist run its course, but now I'm calling the cops and reporting the bag stolen with your names and your location." "You wouldn't." "Oh, but I already did." Click. Chapter 3. The trap springs shut. 20 minutes after I hung up, the GPS tracker stopped moving. They must have ditched the car or the bag, thinking that would be enough to disappear. Amateurs. But I didn't just plan for betrayal. I planned for panic. I had already filed a formal police report. Theft of a symbolic asset related to a high V-value transaction with video footage of the theft, license plate details, and most importantly, a digital affidavit showing Rhea and Darren as the last to be in possession of the bag. Now, here's what most people forget. Even if the bag contained fake bills, intent to steal and misuse of company property still count as crimes, especially when tied to a major contract. And since the client's firm was copied in the report, they'd filed supporting documentation, making it federal-level corporate fraud, which meant law enforcement had no choice but to act quickly. 10:12 a.m. That same day, I received a photo from my lawyer. Darren, face down on the hood of a police car, being cuffed. Rhea, tear-streaked and screaming in the background, barefoot in the gravel driveway of that trashy rental cabin. Along with the photo came a message, "Arrested without incident." Police retrieved the bag, confirmed its contents. Charges pending. Want to press for felony or walk away? I sat with that question and smiled. 2 days later, police station conference room. I agreed to meet with the authorities to close things out. Rhea and Darren were being held for questioning. They hadn't been formally charged yet, but the DA was circling. I made my statement calmly, handed over footage, confirmed the bag was corporate property, signed the waiver to drop major charges on one condition, that the arrest records remained public, no sealing, no favors. Rhea's lawyer pleaded with me during mediation. "She'll lose everything if this goes on record," he said. "She has no prior. Think of her reputation." I leaned back. "Oh, I am," I said coldly. "And the next man she meets will Google her name and know exactly what she's capable of." He blinked. "She stole from her husband and ran off with his friend. She deserves a second chance when she earns it." I signed the final form, stood up, looked him in the eye. Tell her good luck starting from scratch. Chapter 4. Rebuilding without her. Rhea was released on bail a few days later. No charges pressed for now, but the damage was already done. The moment the arrest photo hit local gossip sites, her world began to collapse. Friends gone, job fired the next morning. Social media comments flooded with words like thief, snake, and gold-digging traitor. But the real hit came from her family. I hadn't told them a word. I didn't need to because the internet did it for me. Her mother sent me an email, a short one. "John, I'm so sorry. We had no idea. She's not the daughter we raised. You didn't deserve this. We support whatever you decide to do." I didn't reply because I was already done talking. Meanwhile, I rebuilt quietly, powerfully, the $10 million deal. It went through cleanly. My client, impressed by how I handled the attempted theft, actually introduced me to 3 new corporate partners. My firm expanded into 2 new markets within the month. But even better, I used Ria's betrayal to fuel my public brand. I published a LinkedIn article. What I learned about business after someone I loved tried to steal everything. It went viral, not because I named names, but because the message was clear. Guard your empire, even from those who smile beside you. I got speaking offers, book deals, a documentary pitch, and all the while, Ria was stuck trying to rebuild a reputation that had never really been hers to begin with. Then came the final blow. A package arrived at her new address. I had a contact in real estate who helped me find out where she was renting now. Small, 1-bedroom, low-income neighborhood, a far cry from the high-rise apartment we once shared. Inside the package was a single fake bill, a flash drive with the surveillance footage, and a note handwritten in black ink. "This is what you stole. This is what you lost. This is why you'll never matter to me again. Jay, no anger, no revenge threats. Just closure. The kind that wraps like a noose. Quiet, tight, and unforgettable." Chapter 5. The final price. A year passed. It's strange how quickly life can transform when you cut away the rot. I was no longer the man who handed over his trust in a duffel bag. No longer the husband quietly hoping his wife would stop looking over his shoulder for someone better. I was sharper, wiser, richer in every way that mattered. The company I'd built from the ground up now had 3 new offices. I'd hired a small but loyal leadership team. People who believed in trust because they earned it and never once asked for shortcuts. I even started dating again, slowly, quietly. Nothing flashy, nothing desperate, because I no longer needed someone to complete me. I had already rebuilt myself. Then one morning, on the exact anniversary of the deal, I got a message. A burner account. No name, no profile picture, just text. "You won. I lost everything. Hope you're happy." I didn't need to ask who it was. I stared at the message for a moment. Not with rage, not even satisfaction. Just reflection. Then I typed back. "You didn't lose everything, Ria. You just never earned anything to begin with." Blocked. Deleted. I never heard from her again. Epilogue. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about burning bridges. It's about building castles on the ashes, letting them watch powerless from a distance they can never cross again. And when they finally realize what they threw away, they don't see a second chance. They see the gate closing forever. Was this revenge perfectly justified? Tell us what you would have done in the comments below. Like the story. Share it with someone who needs this energy. And subscribe to Lauren's Story for more jaw-dropping tales of betrayal and justice. Because here, every lie has its reckoning, and every betrayal finds its shadow. Stay sharp, stay strong.